Hi guys, so today I'm going to be talking about the evaluation for my D3 project. As I've now recorded the main track, it was very rough, a mock-up of a song, um, but I will of course be trying my best to record it through my amp and through my mic through Soundtrap on my computer, just so it sounds a lot more better and professional. Because let's be honest, it isn't the best recording in the world for what I did for the acoustic song on my Google site. So if I have time, I will do my best then. But as for now, I think I have covered most of what I'm up to. Um, most of my influences from Kurt Cobain, um, and I've covered other lyrics, other sheet music of what I'm going to be doing, and I think it's all relatively clear. So yeah. So as for planning, of what I did, I obviously went through for what I wanted to have at the end of my project. Now the question is, have I accomplished every one of those things that I talked about in the first video diary? I'd say mostly because I did say at first I was going to do it independently, and it has been a big difference to my previous projects. Not really collaborating with people. I did collaborate with at some points, but that was just for help to get inspiration, etc. Um, and my friend Ollie, I did this song with him for his D3 project. So he came up with a drum part, but I wanted to do an acoustic one, so I can try and get my singing voice going as well. Um, so yeah, I think it was planned out relatively well. I mean, I'm learning new things all the time. Um, but as I said at the beginning of the video, one of the biggest things that I would change is how I recorded it, because the end result, it wasn't amazing, but it is something. So I can't complain about that. So yeah, and for my research, I think it was pretty good as well. For my research, I came up with a few video diaries, a lot of my inspirations. So a big inspiration of mine was the song Polly from Nirvana. And then I spoke about how Kurt Cobain's playing Kurt Cobain's playing style was heavily influenced by how he collaborated compared to how he did it solo, if that makes sense. So when he collaborated with his band Nirvana, it was a lot more heavy, very heavy music, a lot of screaming and everything. Now he did have that in his solo artist career, but it was based a lot more on acoustic guitar from what I found. So Polly was a big influence from me compared to all his other songs, um, as it was done um, in a solo recording. And as for the lyrics, that had a lot of influence from Polly as well. So I spoke about how the lyrics were inspired by tragic stories, very deep, frustrated, subjects, if that makes sense. A lot of grief and anger in the lyrics. So the song Polly, as I spoke about, it was about something that happened, a tragic event that happened to a girl in the 1980s, I think. And Kurt Cobain wanted to, express his frustration towards the subject. Um, it was about a girl getting kidnapped. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that. But my lyrics were, well, it's about it's also about another deep subject. One of the subjects I wanted to talk about for my D3 song is is about toxic relationships. Now I don't want to waffle on too long. I probably have done already, but yeah. My song is about toxic relationships, and the story of the matter is about um, a rich man taking advantage of a woman, and the woman can't leave him because she's addicted to heroin, and if she leaves him, she won't be able to get a fix of it again. Now I know it seems quite like out the ordinary, but I think you know, it has the same, you know, dark style of Kurt Cobain. You know, so that's one way I really wanted to, you know, show off his style of music, you know, with the anger, the frustration, you know, just his perspective towards the world, really. You know, like, you know, I can't ignore the very dark, you know, context that's in his songs. So, you know, as for that, like, you know, I think I've covered that quite deeply. Um, and yeah, I think it went quite well. Um, and as for my practical skills, um, I spoke about how, um, you know, I already went over this, but how, you know, Kurt collaborated with people compared to his solo career, but you know, but that's what I spoke about. And another thing, my practical skills are going over my chord progression. Now that's kind of the bridge between my practical skills into my evaluation. So, you know, practical skills is at the bit where it really helped me how to, you know, figure out the song for my D3. You know, I go through my ideas for the breakdown and a bridge if my song were an electric song. Now, in the final recording, I didn't actually have a breakdown. You know, it just seemed a little bit too complex, but you know, I'm quite annoyed because if I did collaborate, and it were an electric, you know, kind of a heavier version rather than an acoustic version, I would definitely include a breakdown because, you know, it's you know, with all the offbeat tempos, you know, with all the confusing sounds in a breakdown, you know, it really brings out other energy that Kurt Cobain brings off. So, you know, I would have liked to include that. Um, but that's an example right there of you know how I want to express Kurt Cobain's style, and I'm gonna probably upload another video of the song that I did with Ollie. Ollie did I did a drum part, and that's, you know, a video that's similar to what the final track would have been if I did collaborate. Um, so yeah, that I'll try and upload that. Um, and yeah, back to the evaluation. Um, so. So other sheet music. It's quite a rough mock-up, but you know, it shows the other changing, um, you know, chords between the arpeggio patterns and the more power chord kind of patterns. Well, it's I did it on like an acoustic kind of, you know, tone, so it's not really power chords, but you know, it's yes, so it's just chords and then an arpeggio chord and then it goes to the bridge, and yeah. Um, Now I've never written sheet music before, but I can just tell you the rets in it are one beat rets. Um, I wasn't very good at drawing them out, but I'm talking about other rets are between um, on the arpeggio um, bit as well. So like, you know, it'll be like the arpeggiated chord, and then it'll be like what a one beat rest, and then it will go on to the next arpeggiated chord, and then there's a one beat rest, and then it goes on to the chorus of where it's non-arpeggiated. So that's just something to put out there if anyone was confused. Um, and yeah, um, as for now, I'm gonna try and get as much done as possible on Soundtrap. Um, and yeah, I'll try and upload it at